Here, warts and all there at the beginning. I like to keep the mistakes in there, makes it interesting, doesn't it? So how you doing? Welcome to the Stable Studio. I'm here today to talk about playing over dominant chords, dominant 7th chords. So I was playing over C7 there at the beginning, and what's special about this bluesy kind of dominant 7th thing is that minor and major work over it. You can play minor pentatonic scale over it, you can play a major pentatonic scale over it. They will both sound good. If you've ever listened to AC/DC and you've heard anything Angus Young plays, kind of solo-wise, like Highway to Hell solo, or any of that sort of stuff, he'll do major pentatonic, then he'll go into the minor pentatonic and blues scale, and it just works. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today, as well as some other stuff to think about. And most of you that have seen my videos before will know that I'm a shapes kind of guy. I like to focus on visualizing shapes and patterns that work in certain situations. So I'm going to try and show you some little hacks. I hate that word. Little tricks. There you go. I like that word better. Little tricks and things that you can kind of visualize to get you around without having to, constantly be in theory mode in guitar. For me, when I'm constantly in theory mode and I'm thinking, which scale should I be using in this situation? I'm thinking too much about it, which I probably was at the beginning actually, but I think it's more important to just hear something and respond with a shape or a pattern that works. It doesn't then matter what the notes are, does it? If the pattern and the shape work, you can kind of get into the groove of that. That's how I kind of see things anyway. So let's show you a few, if I can not fall off my chair, let's show you a few things you can do with a dominant 7th chord. So just really quickly, a dominant 7th chord is a major chord, right? It's got a major third. So it's a happy chord, it's not a sad chord. It's got major third, so it's a happy chord, and it's got flat 7, and that's what gives it that kind of dominant 7th sound. Is the major third and the flat 7. So the notes you've got in a C dominant 7th chord are C, E, G, and B flat. Okay, which is the root, third, 5th, flat 7. So if you know a minor pentatonic scale, position 1, which I'm assuming everybody does, okay? Anybody that's looking at this kind of video, I'd imagine knows that minor pentatonic scale, right? In C, starting on the 8th fret. Now, one of my earlier videos, I was talking about relative majors and minors and unlocking the fretboard. And if you just take this minor pentatonic shape and you slide it 3 frets down, so minor starts on your first finger, major starts on your little finger. Same root note, right? Minor, pentatonic, put your little finger on the root note, major pentatonic. You then get, without some wrong notes in it, you get the C major pentatonic, right? Which happens to be the same as, you probably realise that, A minor pentatonic. So there you go, there's your link. Minor pentatonic, major pentatonic. Those two together will work all day long. You can just literally go from one to the other. You get your Angus Young thing. And they both work because of the major third and the flat 7. The major third gives it the happy, and the flat 7 is what gives it that kind of minor pentatonic pentatonic thing, kind of bluesy thing. It's all bluesy, isn't it? But I'm going to show you the first little trick is to learn a minor pentatonic scale in position 5. Okay, and this is something that I've been showing students for years, and it takes a little bit of kind of visualizing because it's right on top of the major pentatonic. Okay, so we'll put the two together. So position 5 of the C minor pentatonic, you're starting on the B flat, which is the 5th note of the C minor pentatonic scale, and the shape looks like this. Hopefully you can see that if I get my fingers out of the way. Oh, not that. See, I'm getting confused now. I like that shape because it's symmetrical. You know, you've literally got a 2-fret gap and a 2-fret gap, 3-fret gap and a 3-fret gap, 2-fret gap and a 2-fret gap. It's a really, really nice, easy shape to kind of memorize, right? So that is also the same notes, obviously, as the position 1, but just in a different place. And the reason I'm showing you that shape today, you probably already know that one if you know all your shapes of your minor pentatonic scale. I don't use all the shapes. I use certain ones that I really like. Position 1, position 5 are my favourite two because they kind of link well in this kind of situation. But knowing all of them is obviously great. You don't need to right now. So position 5, you probably already noticed that this position here fits nicely against that major pentatonic position I was just showing you a minute ago. This one. So A minor pentatonic, if you want to look at it that way, and the C minor pentatonic position 5 are on top of each other. And that is so cool because rather than you constantly moving around, so, you know, sort of, okay, position 1, and go back here. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It sounds great. But if you're all in the same 4 frets, there's so much more you can do with your phrasing. So this is all in major pentatonic, this bit. But if I just move these 2 notes up a fret, I'm in the minor pentatonic, right? Major, major, minor, and then major again, and then I can kind of fuse the two together. And all of a sudden your phrasing starts to sound really, really, really cool. This is minor pentatonic. Back into the major. Major, minor. So you can kind of fuse those two together and you can get some really, really great ideas by doing that without going anywhere at all, just staying in those same 4 frets. Simple as that, right? Minor pentatonic and then major pentatonic, and then just start just playing around with it and experimenting and fusing the two together. So that's one way you can play over a dominant 7th chord. So let's listen to a bit of that. Major, apart from that little slur. Minor, major, minor, major, minor, major, minor, and so on. You get the idea, right? So that's one little trick, is position 5, minor pentatonic, and the major pentatonic, literally in the same 4 frets. Try it, see how you get on. The other thing to think about is just playing in the key of F major all day long, because dominant chord C7, playing a Mixolydian scale over C7 works perfectly as well. And I've done another video on this as well. I'll try to link everything in the description below. I'm still getting used to this YouTube stuff, right? But Mixolydian over dominant chord works perfectly because a Mixolydian scale is a major scale with a flat 7. It's what it's designed for, is playing over, you know, dominant chords all day long. So a major scale, excuse me, in C would sound like that. So if I play a major scale and flat the 7, we get Mixolydian sound, right? A dominant 7th sound. So that for me is like, oh, I've got to learn another scale shape. Oh, I've got to think in theory now. And that for me takes me out of the musical bit of playing. And that's what I've always tried to avoid. Some guitar players that are way cleverer than I am can think, oh yeah, this is the scale shape I now need for this chord. For me, I've always just thought about the chords and the stuff that's going on underneath, right? And thought, right, if I can just play everything I ever do with either a minor pentatonic scale or a major scale, what else do you need? Because as long as you know where to use each one, where to superimpose it, if you like, you don't really need anything else unless you're playing some really weird kind of, you know, interesting but weird altered kind of stuff, altered chords or whatever. So the way to work this out, which major scale you need, is take whatever root note you've got, right, C in this case, and work out where C is the 5th chord of whatever given key. So C is the 5th chord of the key of F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I play an F major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. C ends up there. The easier way and the shapes way of doing this is to just play a power chord and find out where the C ends up on your little finger. That's what I show my students. It's like, don't worry too much about like trying to, you know, think about whether it's circle of fifths, whether it's all like, you know, the notes of each major scale. Just play a power chord. And when your little finger, or third finger, however you play a power chord, I play it with the little finger most of the time. Whenever your little finger lands on a C, this is the major scale you need to play over a dominant chord or over blues. Simple as that, right? Same here. Here's a C. This is the major scale you need. F. So there you go. So what I'm saying is F major scale is the exact same notes as the C Mixolydian scale. So the C Mixolydian scale, remember I was saying it's a major scale with a flattened 7, ends up being the exact same notes as F major scale. Just because of the mathematics of music, they just kind of lie on top of each other. It's mega. So play F major over the top. Let's try that. Let's press the right button on the timeline. I'm still getting used to this looper on the timeline. There we go. So F major, this is an F major scale. Sounds like C Mixolydian, doesn't it? Because of the chord that's underneath, the backdrop that you're playing over, makes it sound like C Mixolydian, even though I'm thinking F major, right? And then I'm just fusing it into the other two scales we talked about, the minor pentatonic, the major pentatonic, and off we go. So here's the F major, I'm thinking F major here. And now I'm back in minor pentatonic. Major pentatonic. F major. Major pentatonic. Minor pentatonic. F major. It's Mixolydian magic. In fact, I might name that video that, Mixolydian magic. Playing over dominant 7th chord. So, those three concepts, you can then just employ them across the fretboard, wherever you know those scales. All you've got to think about is either a major scale or your pentatonic stuff, right? That's it. There's no extra magic, you know, magical notes that exist that you've got to worry about. And it's then just all down to your phrasing. If you listen to any great guitar player in the world, the thing that makes them great is their note choice, you know, in my opinion. Like, it's their phrasing and their note choice. And that just comes from just fusing these ideas together. You don't have to think complex things to make great sounds, you know, just use what you know, but it's how you use it, and it's down to that kind of phrasing. I'm going to do a video on phrasing at some point, but Yeah. So C minor pentatonic, C major pentatonic, and the F major scale. Wherever you want to play those will work. Like I say, the trick I showed you earlier with the position 5 of the minor pentatonic and the major pentatonic work really nicely in the same area. The F major scale, if you're playing it from the 5th string root, works really nicely with the minor pentatonic. So there's F major, back into the minor pentatonic. You've probably played this kind of thing before and thought, oh, that sounded nice. I wonder what I did there. You know, I did that for years. Thought, oh, why does that sound nice? How come it sounds nice until I kind of realised what I was doing, you know, years later. So, put all those three together and just experiment with it. If you want to kind of take it to another level, you can also use the triads in the key of F major. I'm not going to go into that today. Maybe I'll do that in another video. But you can just, you know, just keep going, keep thinking kind of in the key of F major, and whatever you know in that key will also work perfectly over this. So have a go. If you like what you've seen today, if you've learned something from this video, please give it a like. And if you consider subscribing, if you haven't already, there's quite a lot of people watch these videos that haven't subscribed already, then I'd appreciate that as well. As always, drop a comment, ask a question, and I'll always respond to any kind of question about the video. I read all the comments as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. See you later.